everyone, my name is Amanda and I'm the Fun Size Reader, and I want to talk to you guys all about Riley Sager's newest release, Survive the Night. As most of you all know, I'm a huge Riley Sager fan. I've now read all of his books. I was waiting for this one to come out ever since last year when he kind of tipped us off what it was going to be about. So this one I like to compare as a Ted Bundy-esque style thriller. What I really like about it is that Riley likes to use a lot of movie inspiration, and he's a real big fan of super old movies, classic movies, all kinds of things, especially horror films. And he uses that so much in this book. So basically, this one is about a girl named Charlie, and she is a student in college, and her roommate was just murdered by a serial killer. And she's having a really hard time with it, and so she decides that she's going to drop out of school and hitch a ride home and basically move on with her life. Well, this book is set in the 90s, so cell phones aren't really a thing, the internet's not really a thing. So what does Charlie do? She posts a ad on a message board at her school. While she's sitting here posting her ad on the message board, she happens to be standing next to someone who's looking for a passenger, and he's actually going to drive across the country and needs someone to share gas and, you know, just keep him company on the ride. So she decides, perfect timing, I'm gonna, you know, take this guy up on a ride because he's kind of going in my same direction. So she's getting in a car with a stranger, and she thinks, after riding with him for a certain amount of time, that he's a serial killer and he's the one who killed her roommate. But here's the thing. We don't know as we read what's real and what's not. So this book was so good. I actually read this in like a couple days. I got it as early, I think, because my Barnes & Noble put it out a few days early from release date. So I had it finished by the time that it came out, and I thought it was his best. I loved it the most out of all of his books. And it's funny because while I was thinking about doing this video, I was thinking about the book, and I actually just had my sister read it because she loves him too, and she loves thrillers. She read it the other night, got to the ending, we were talking about it, and I actually thought about the ending of the book a completely different way once we were talking about it than I thought about it when I actually finished reading the book. So I feel like I got this completely new perspective on this book, and it made me love it even more because I've just felt like this whole different ending was opened up in my head. For those of you who are looking for a Ted Bundy style, getting in a car with a stranger type thriller that is literally going to keep you up all night trying to figure out what's going on and really kind of give you so many chills, this is what you were looking for. If you've already read this book, you can keep watching this video because I really want to talk about the ending and how amazing I thought it was. So there's some spoilers ahead. So if you haven't read it, don't keep watching because I'm going to talk about the end right now and it will ruin it for you. So like I was saying, when I talked to my sister, I realized that I had thought about the ending a completely different way. She ended up not really liking the ending of the book. She wasn't satisfied with it. She wasn't happy with it. I kind of like unsatisfying endings in thrillers. I think that they are refreshing because I don't want everything to be just like tied up in a pretty little bow and everything's good and done. When I originally read the book and got to the ending in the epilogue where we see Charlie and she's at the Hollywood premiere of her movie that she wrote, I thought that it was just kind of a continuation of what we had been reading, and that she was just telling us that, you know, oh, the movie wasn't exactly what I pictured in my head. It was Hollywooded up and blah, blah, blah. And then she gets off into her car with her husband, who was the guy that she ended up sharing the car with. But then when I was thinking about it last night, I was like, no, the whole book was written in scenes. Like the chapter names were all scenes and descriptions of where the scene took place. We were reading the movie that she was watching at the end. And so my mind was blown when she was like, oh yeah, it was Hollywooded up. So now, while we spent the whole book thinking we didn't know what was real and what was actually happening and what was just a movie playing in our head, the whole thing was a dang movie. And we don't actually know what really happened, but we know that she ended up married to this guy. So what was real and what wasn't? I had a totally different appreciation for it last night when I was reading it, or when I was talking about it. I can't believe that he wrote that sort of unsatisfying ending, that she just goes off in the car with her husband. Was he even bad? Did any of this even happen? Did she literally just make it all up based on a car ride that she took with a random guy that she met at school? And then she ended up with him forever. Like, so good, Riley. So good. My favorite of yours. Thanks for joining in to chat about Survive the Night, Riley Sager's newest release. If you want to chat more, you can find me on Instagram at The Fun Size Reader, on Facebook at The Fun Size Reader, and on Twitter at Fun Size Reader. See you next time.